Hello, people. Welcome to Virtual Pro, a community of remote professionals interested in growth, professionalism, and excellence. In today's video, we're going to be talking about productivity. I will be sharing 10 practical tips that has helped me stay focused, organized, and consistent in my work as a virtual assistant, project manager, and communications professional. And I'm not just going to be listing out the tips for you. I will share practical examples of how I've used some of them during my own work and how it boosted my productivity. If you want to start taking control of your time instead of reacting to everything that is happening around you, this video is for you. The first 5 tips will be about professional and work structure, and the last 5 is going to be about personal organization and discipline. So let's get into it. And I'll start by quickly defining what being productive at work means. Being productive at work means producing a large amount of work or achieving high quality results in a given amount of time, often by completing tasks efficiently and effectively. The very first step is plan your day before it actually starts. Productivity starts before each workday begins. In the evening of, let's say today, you need to list out the top 3 priorities for tomorrow. And if you're someone that closes work very sharply, which it shouldn't be so, before you start your work day, list out your top 3 priorities for the day. That way, you don't start work and just come into things, people bombarding you with emails, one team member is reaching out to you to do this, do that. It doesn't work that way. When you prioritize and you know the top 3 things you're going to do for the day, you're not just reacting to messages or emails that are sent to you or people reaching out to you to get your own time to do their work, but you're executing what you actually have to do. For me, I do it most mornings before I start work, and for weekends, I do it on a Friday so that the next week I have an outline of what I need to do that week, my top 3 priorities for the week. And for every day before I close work, I ensure that I have at least an idea of what I want to do the next day. I use Notion to keep myself organized. None of my clients currently use Notion, so I use Notion as my personal workspace. You can use Notion, you can use ClickUp, you can even just use a simple notepad or your laptop or your phone to keep track of the things you need to do in order of priority. And remember, not all tasks are equal. So target as important, urgent, and not so important can wait. Know how to arrange your tasks in order of priorities. Planning your day is the first step to take if you want to be productive. The second tip is set short-term achievable goals and keep track of them. One of the best ways to increase productivity at work is to set achievable goals, short term, short goals that are somehow tied to your overall organizational goal or the goal of the moment, let's say a quarter. Basically, a goal that moves the business forward. Setting goals help you manage your time, your resources, and gives you something to look forward to. And it also keeps you motivated and just helps you boost your productivity because you are working towards something. It's just like when you know that at the end of this week, I know I want to have my project outline or my Gantt chart ready for review. You know, by the end of this week, this is the specific goal that you want to achieve. So every day leading up to Friday, that is what you're going to be working on, or you'll be making available resources that will help you reach that goal. And in setting short-term goals, don't forget to keep track of your activities. Keep track of the deadlines and the timelines that you've attached to these goals. So that way you're setting goals that you actually complete. Number 3 tip is eat that frog. Some years back, I read this book by Brian Tracy. Eat That Frog. 21 great ways to stop procrastinating and get more work done in less time. While I can't remember every single detail of the book, the general idea of the book was to do the difficult things first. So let's say you have to eat a frog. Eat the ugliest one first. You're still going to eat the frog. So just eat the ugliest one first. So you know you're done with the ugly frog and you have the fine frog left. So do difficult things first. In productivity, that will be tackling your ugliest or hardest tasks first. Write it on a sticky note or somewhere that you cannot avoid so you're reminded of it until you do it. And rather than keep it taunting you through the day, just do it already. Do the difficult tasks. This builds momentum for other smaller tasks that don't really require much energy. For a long time, I trained myself to do difficult things. So I went to a boarding school, and Nigerian boarding school is like military. So if you know you don't want to end up with dirty clothes or rumpled dresses, you have to prepare ahead of time. And that will mean trying to get your clothes ironed during the weekend, all your uniforms that you're going to wear during the week, try to get them ironed during the weekend. If you just have limited amount, you know that you don't play roughly because you want your dress still looking neat and tidy even before Wednesday of the week. So you just learn to do difficult things by default and don't postpone them, because eventually you're going to do them and it's going to be much harder. When it comes to work, I also apply these principles. So someone like me, I hate making calls, generally hate making calls. But when I'm working and my work requires me to make calls, I get my calls done quickly as soon as they come in. So once the tax come in that I should call someone, I call them immediately because I just want to get it done with. I don't want to spend my day thinking that I have to make this call to someone else. So just know how to get the hardest tasks out of the way, especially if there's something that are top priority in your work. Number four, cut out distractions. Distractions and interruptions are for sure things that get in the way of productivity. You cannot be productive if you're constantly being distracted or interrupted by things happening to you. And distraction falls into two categories: the self imposed distraction and the environmentally imposed distraction. Cut out both of them. The self imposed distractions are things within our control, like our notifications, unnecessary calls that we just make for fun and all. I'm even going to talk about notifications in a later point. But the environmentally imposed distractions are not something that we can control easily. So this could be like a colleague walking up to your desk. And if you're a remote worker, it could be a colleague calling you on Slack, and it could be a work call as far as the first 5 minutes work call. Before you know, you spiral into something that is not related to work. You're now talking about office politics, or you're talking about how mean your boss is. And these distractions just keep you away from the work that you need to do, which will help you to be productive. You have to learn to politely decline engaging in this kind of distractions because they keep you away from the work that you have to do. One way that I decline engaging in distractions when we have work to do is to remind that particular colleague of the work they also have to do. Let's say somebody comes up to me and at first we start with a work conversation or something I need to do, and I give them the response, but somehow the gist just goes down. I'll just be like, have you completed this? Have you completed that? Especially when I know that this work, the work they have to do and the work I have to do is tied together. So I just give them a reminder that, okay, we have this work to do. Or don't worry, we'll talk about this later. This is how you can politely decline. Some people you have to outrightly decline, like, please, I am very busy right now, and just go and finish up your task. For some, you can just give that polite response and redirect them to the work they have to do. And most times, it's not only the distraction itself that robs you from being productive, it's also the time and energy you need to refocus back to the work that you're doing. Research shows that it takes up to or more than 23 minutes to come back to the work that you're doing once you've been distracted. So take note of it. It may seem like, oh, it's small distraction, but avoid distractions. Cut them out when it has to do with your work. Number five, remove low value tasks with AI. Low value tasks are work that keeps you really busy but contributes barely nothing to the bottom line or the overall business goal. Like, they're nice, they keep you busy, but contribution is very low. And so much time can be spent on this kind of tasks. They're repetitive, you have to do them every day, but they don't really do much. And if you're someone that you're looking at positioning yourself more strategically, they just take up your time and you're not able to do actual strategic work. This is where AI plays a significant role in maximizing your productivity. For example, there was a time where you had to manually type in meeting notes during Zoom calls. You have to type them down or rely on Zoom recordings where you have to listen and transcribe manually. But thanks to the light of autopilots, Phantom AI, Fireflies, that just keeps things easy and straightforward. You're coming out of the meeting, it already has your meeting summary, everything, the key talking points, the action points, everything arranged, and you don't need to spend your time trying to transcribe manually. So if you are in that kind of situation, I don't even think anybody should be transcribing meeting notes manually again. AI should handle that. So think of other tasks that you do that seems like AI can replace. Use automation tools like Google Automate, Zapier to send stuff like reports, and just keep yourself organized without spending so much time doing this work. The less manual work you do, the more you actually have time to do tasks that actually move the needle and are very important to the organizational goal. So those are the 5 tips for professional structure and work productivity. The next 5 we're going to be going into are for personal structure, discipline, and just your personal work style. So number 6, which is number 1, but let's just continue counting. Number 6 is to capitalize on your peak productivity hours. Are you a morning person or a night person? Personal productivity can vary depending on the time of the day. I am a morning person anytime, any day. So I wake up and get right into work because at that point of the day, my brain is so open and alert. Things are easier for me to do, especially work. Any work on my laptop is easier for me to do in the mornings. So I just get right into work. For some of you, you might be more productive, let's say after lunch when you've eaten and the sun is out. There are people that are like the sun. So once the sun is out, they are more productive. And there are some people that are night owls that they literally work late into the night. For people like this is where the remote work team favors them, especially when they work with someone outside their time zone. Let's say you're in West African time zone and you're working with someone in the Pacific time zone. The energy is high at that point. So know your productivity peak hours. This will help you know when to work. If you have scattered meetings all over the day and you don't even know your work hours, let's say you're a morning person, you fix meetings back to back in the mornings. From 12, your energy is low and you're not able to get any work done. So what you need to do is to schedule your meetings in blocks so that you can focus on your core work during your peak productivity hours. Number 7 is to apply the 2 minute rule. What is the 2 minute rule, you might ask? Don't let small things pile up and drain your energy throughout your day. If you know something can be done in less than 2 minutes, just do it and get it done with. I know we spoke about doing the difficult things first, but let's say you're going on in the middle of your day and you just need to pay a specific bill at that moment that might actually, let's say your internet, that will affect your internet. Just do it at the moment. Don't It's going to take less than 2 minutes. Do it and know that you're done with it. And you may think to yourself, this is just 2 minutes, but somehow it's at the back of your mind that you need to do this specific thing. So just getting it done under 2 minutes clears your head mentally. So there's no mental clutter of some tiny, tiny things that you need to do. This helps you focus on your work and in turn helps you to be productive. Point number 8 is to manage your notifications. Social media can be distracting, and this is where earlier when I spoke about the self-imposed distraction, social media is a self-imposed distraction, even when you work as a social media manager. As an actor, I had so many social media notifications turned on, like that of directors, producers, auditions. I just had so many of them on. So I could be working and my phone I don't have notification sounds on, but I have this live thing and it just does it. And immediately I pick up my phone and I want to see, okay, have they posted an audition? Do I need to submit an audition quickly? I noticed that this was actually distracting me when I was deep in the middle of work. So at first I said, okay, let me limit my social media time to about an hour, 30 minutes per day. It worked for a bit, but I realized the main issue was the notifications I was getting when I was deep into work and how it would take me a while before I come back to work. You know how Instagram is. You get a notification and you open it, you see the notification, you try to leave. Before you know, you see something interesting, you open the comments, before you know, you're scrolling. Next thing, 5-10 minutes is gone by and you're on social media. And remember, it takes about 23 minutes for you to refocus back on what you're doing. So my advice for you will be to turn off your social media notifications. That was what I did. I turned off Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook. I just turned everything off and I found out that I was focusing on work very well. In as much as some of my work involved going on social media, I went on social media on the time that I needed to go on social media, not by the influence of notifications that were just distracting me from my day. Silence those distractions, mute your social media notifications. If you have personal emails that you're always getting emails that will distract you, you can keep it for a specific period. Maybe turn off the notification when you are deep into work. You want to start work, turn off these notifications so that you get your work done and you get it done well. That's one tip to productivity that helped me in my own work. You'll be amazed at how much mental space that gives you. Tip number 9, take breaks. You can't be productive if you work 8 to 12 hours straight. You cannot be productive. So you can use the Pomodoro style of working 25 minutes work, 5 minutes break, or you can do time blocking, work for 3 hours, take a 30 minutes break or a 20 minutes break. Breaks are important as they help you clear your head to see things from a fresher point of view. Your brain needs recovery time to perform well, so don't joke with your breaks. Real rest actually equals to productivity. You can't be productive without actually taking breaks when needed. If you work like an 8 hour stretch, you should know how to stand up in between those 8 hours, take a walk, 10 minutes walk, 5 minutes break, lunch break. So take all these breaks that help you clear your head. Just take a break away from the work. 5 minutes can do a lot. What I do sometimes, I just do 5 minutes walk around my parlor and my head is clear to continue the work for the day. And my final point is that you reward yourself on completion of specific tasks. I love a good reward. I do that very well. One of the most effective ways to stay productive at work is using a reward system. I love a good reward. I learned it quite early because I wondered why was I working so hard if I could not reward myself. So at the end of the month or at the end of the week, I try to treat myself to something nice. It could be something as simple as ice cream or a parfait or just something. I go for a show or go watch a movie that I really like. Learn how to reward yourself. It creates this kind of incentive and gives you momentum to do the work. You decide the task that you want to do or the goal you need to complete and set up a reward that you're going to give. So let's say by the end of this day, I will just use the Gantt chart example. By the end of this week, I want to complete this really detailed Gantt chart, ensure that it's been reviewed and approved. And what I'm going to give myself is one full large size pizza. So it could be something that simple, but setting yourself up like that helps you to appreciate the work that you're doing while giving you momentum and motivation to complete the work because of the reward that you have set at the end of that work. And with that, we have 10 practical tips to help you stay productive, whether you work remotely or you work on site. These tips can help you in any of these areas that you work. And remember, being productive is not about working more, it's about working smarter, being consistent, and being diligent with your time. So you can start small. Pick one work habit and one personal habit from this video and start building them into your routine and see how it helps you this week. Next week, you pick up one from the work, one from personal, and gradually you infuse these productivity tips into your work and realize that, oh, you're getting more productive at the work that you do. And we've come to the end of this video. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, share with someone, a colleague, a friend that is struggling with being productive. Share it with them and let me know your questions in the comments. Leave me some comments and I'll be happy to respond. See you in my next video. Bye.